And welcome to Incredibly Live.
Yes.
Yes. Back in once again. Your stream's bitrate is still low. That should fix itself. Welcome to the stream. My name is Joey, joined by my one and only co-host, Uchi.
What's happening? Back again once again. I am very, very, very happy that we are in a timeline where we have the X-Men animated series back.
Amen, brother.
And it's honestly like I'm so happy.
This is the best timeline. It could not go any better.
I said this before and I'll happily say it again. I feel like X-Men has been the missing piece to everything as far as like people complaining and feeling like there's some sort of like, downfall or there's like fatigue, whatever, however way you want to describe it.
Right.
The fact of the matter is,
fatigue.
as soon as the X-Men pop in, it's like all is well. So I'm very happy. I'm very thrilled that we could finally talk about this. First 2 episodes, they blessed us with 2, not just
They
1,
did.
but they
They
did.
did. A lot of the people or anybody that got the show early got the first 3 episodes. It's like a lot of the videos and breakdowns I've been seeing have been like, "First 3-episode breakdown." I'm like, "Bro, I'm not trying to get spoiled already. It just came out at
It just
3 AM this
freaking
morning."
dropped, yeah.
Yeah. But how lucky are we that we got not only X-Men in the year of our Lord 2024, but we also got all 3 Spider-Men in a movie too. It's like, couldn't be better. And we're getting Hugh Jackman back and Ryan Reynolds.
That's what I'm saying. This is the X-Men, like, I can't even call it like a seed year. I mean, I guess you could because we have Deadpool Wolverine, and then I was hearing murmurs about whenever What If season 3 happens, there's gonna be some X-Men in there too.
I saw the Storm getting Mjolnir or something like that. I was like, "Oh,
Yo, that's what I
brother."
saw. When I found that out, I turned to Crystal. I was like, yo, in What If season 3, Storm's gonna get Mjolnir. It took her a second to realize what that fucking was. She was like, that's kind of crazy. So yeah, it's gonna. I can't wait to see all those what ifs.
Oh my goodness. It's only a matter of time, dude.
Yeah.
And I know that there were talks that maybe, the first portrayal of X-Men wouldn't be in What If, but I think, like, you have them, they're now in the toy box. Let's just, like, not abuse them, but let's get them some use, man. Like, it's been too
Yeah.
long without them. So I'm very excited. Very excited that, we got the episodes today. First 2, episode 1 titled "To Me, My X-Men," which I still get goosebumps every time that I fucking hear it every time. To do The Rock,
Yeah, he just smacks his
Yep.
freaking arm because of the goosebumps, dude.
right? Episode number 2 titled "Mutant Liberation Begins." Both absolute bangers of episodes. I'm gonna say it right off at the top. I have never really been the biggest X-Men fan. For me to say that I would make me a fraud, so I'm not trying to act like I know about anything that's
Hey,
going on.
well, join the party now.
Yeah, right?
Better to do it now
No
than
better
never.
time than now, especially with all the comics that have been coming out and everything else.
Oh
It's
yeah.
good, and, like, my cousin has always been an X-Men fan. He's 35, so not super old. Oh, no, I lie, he just turned 40. And he got me into it. My older brother was always into X-Men, so, like, now getting my time in the sun with X-Men it's a lot of fun. It's so, like, just a quick gush about the episodes for a bit. I never realized how fucking sick Cyclops was until the first fight scene
Oh my
with
god, yes.
the Friends of Humanity, where he's using his optic blast to fucking, like, zoom around the battlefield, and getting to see Gambit in action, getting to see Jubilee in action, getting to see everybody. It's just so good. Like, how good does it feel to see our X-Men again?
Honestly, Joey, it's like it's something that I don't think any of us that have been in waiting, like, in this holding period, because it's like it's one of those dream come true situations where we as fans would always say like, "Man, like, they should bring this back." Like, I hope
Yeah.
that one day, like, they can do something with it, reprise it, I don't know. And here we are, and they did just that and more, and they invested good money and resources
Yes, they
into this,
did.
and you can tell. And I'm glad that you brought up the Cyclops fight or just the fights in general,
Mhm.
because when you go and watch the original X-Men animated series, the fighting is like it's obviously there, but it's not this polished.
Right.
And it does not look this good. And it doesn't feel like it is something that is of like high value and
Right.
all this kind of stuff. So, like, when I was watching this and I was seeing how fluid everything was and like how actual action packed it is, I was kind of mesmerized, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I feel like you might see that in my reaction video when at this point it's gonna come out tomorrow, tomorrow morning.
Mhm.
Um, but that's okay. I'm just glad I was able to record it
Right.
before I
Yeah.
got to work and then edit it as soon as I came back. Um, but yeah, I hope you get to see that in the reaction because like there's a lot of moments where like this is the type of reaction where I'm not really like freaking out. I'm more like caught in the moment and I'm just like, I can't believe I'm watching this right now. Like it feels like a dream.
Yeah.
Like really, it really does. Cause you don't understand, like we're already saying, like, what better way to start getting into X-Men than right now, right? Like
Yeah.
you're getting the like creme de la creme,
Seriously. Like,
like for
literally.
real. Like you seriously are. And like, and not even to shit on the original, because the original is something that needs to be cherished,
Yes.
loved,
It's,
respected.
like, foundational for what we have today.
It truly is, and I don't think people understand that.
Yeah.
Like, if that show was not as successful as it was, we would not have gotten the
Oh,
X-Men
not at all.
live action, and then because of that, we would not have an MCU. Just
Mhm. Mhm.
understand that. Like, dude, it's
Talk to
it's
him.
it's godlike. It's
It
godlike.
is. And, like, I definitely get what you're saying is, like, going back and watching some of the clips from the old show, it definitely, like is definitely of its time, right? It's definitely, like,
Yes.
what it is, like, none of the shows, like, Turtles, Spider-Man, none of it was known for, like, "Oh my god, the combat scenes are so good," but as, like, animation has improved over the years, we've been so spoiled with anime and all the amazing fights that we get out of anime week to week that now it's time for American cartoons to start catching up. But I think this is like such a good step that the just everything about the fight was so smooth. Everybody using their powers in unique ways was just incredible, which we can touch on that a little bit. It was just so like that being the first interaction of Cyclops with enemies was so fucking sick because it's such a unique way to use his power. You're just like, oh, he's just there to fucking, but he's like using it to move around. It just blew me away. So I'm so excited to see what is to come with the rest of the season because I don't remember exactly how many episodes we have.
I think we're getting
Um,
10, I
thank
think.
God. I'm so
Yeah.
tired of like 6 or 8 episode seasons. So
Yeah,
10, I'm
nah, they're
I'm
not
about it.
stiffing. They're not stiffing
Thank
on
God.
us on this
And
shit, bro.
season 2 guaranteed. Got it locked in.
Yes,
I'm all
sir.
about that. Let's get right into the meat and potatoes of the episode. I want to start at the very top. We get the Marvel animation logo. And in the logo, at first I was like, "Oh no, okay, it's gonna be like a weird 3D, John." But it turns into the awesome 2D, and in behind it, we see Spider-Man, we see the Fantastic Four, we see the Silver Surfer, and so we get these, I don't know what you'd consider them, the '90s era cartoons, 80s
The
era
acknowledgement, that's what
they
the fuck we got,
yeah,
bro.
you get the button. Where's your button at?
Oh,
Yeah,
acknowledge
right.
me.
And that sent shivers down my spine just off the top because they're acknowledging it. They're saying, "Hey, these things are ours. They're here to stay. We're gonna put effort towards these things," which gives me hope that in the future we may see more seasons of those things if Sony can play nice with Spider-Man. But it doesn't matter for the rest of them, right? It
Nah,
was
bro.
it was just so cool to see them just in it, because 'cause it's been so long. Like, I grew up with the Spider-Man cartoon. I didn't really get to watch X-Men all that much.
Mm.
So it's just nice to see that. And so the episode really ends up being about, Scott and Jean having to deal with Charles is gone. What the hell are we gonna do with the X-Men? And Scott kind of having to come to terms with, "Well, I got this fucking kid on the way. Do I need to stay in X-Men? What's gonna happen?"
It's very
Um,
conflicting, yeah.
Very conflicting, especially, like, hot on the tails of Charles' death, right? Spoiler
Mhm.
alert if you didn't watch or recap yourself on on the previous seasons previously on X-Men, with Charles' death. It's a nice way to really set the tone that the show is gonna be a little darker, a little bit more mature, really, because X-Men has always
Mhm.
been, like, more of a mature topic even since its inception, really. So it was really nice
Yeah.
that they just kinda came out and were like, "This is what it is. This is literally stepping into, the next episode," like, what would've came directly after, what's season 5 of the original animated series.
Basically, so and this is what adds to the, like, plethora of questions that we get out of the first 2 episodes,
Mhm.
is that they are treating this and I asked this a lot in my reaction, I'm just like, "Why are they going with this angle?" Because the very last episode of season 5 of X-Men, Xavier doesn't die per se.
Right.
He gets he gets sent out to his, alien girlfriend
Yes.
Lilandra.
His hot, sexy space alien girlfriend.
Yeah, yeah. So, like, she takes him on to, like, in efforts, to essentially, I guess, heal him in
Yeah.
some way. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty sure the professor is going to come back
Oh, I
at
fucking
some
hope
point,
so.
one way or another.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, because like he didn't die, but then like so like if you're someone like yourself, right? Like you didn't really watch the original
Mhm.
and you're taking the information that's being given to you, like your questions are gonna be limited. 'Cause, like, you're gonna ask, like, what they're putting in front of you.
Yeah.
Me, I'm, like, asking those on top of, why are
Mhm.
they acting like this guy's dead? He's not
Exactly.
dead. They, like, had his death certificate, and the way they're talking about him, it's like they're just accepting, for some reason, like, he has just passed on.
Right.
And I'm just like, "Listen, if I've learned anything about X-Men, especially about Professor fucking Xavier, it is that do not sleep on this guy
Yeah.
because he's probably one of the strongest mutants you'll ever see.
Mhm.
Like, we're almost done watching all of the old X-Men films. Like, we are now up to we just finished Apocalypse, so now we have to watch Logan and then Dark Phoenix
Nice.
and then New Mutants, right?
Mhm.
So, we're pretty much up to par, but I've seen enough of Charles Xavier in action to understand that like this dude is full of surprises. Like not
Yes.
only can he control people, he can freeze people, he can make you think you're seeing something you're not on some Star Wars Force shit and then he can transfer his being to like something else, someone else. I'm like, okay, so technically he could just move bodies and shit, right? And he'll be good for a really, really long time, so long as he chooses to stay alive or whatever. So that's why I'm looking at this show and I'm just like, listen, you're not gonna get me. I do
Right.
love the whole Magneto being the leader.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We'll get into that for sure.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
episode really starts out with introducing Roberto, De Costa, who is, also known as Sunspot in the
Yes,
comics,
sir.
and I
I
believe he's
called it.
also in New Mutants as well. I think he's in
Oh,
it for a little bit.
that's
I
cool.
saw that, shout out New Rock Stars, I saw that in their video earlier, who ends up, kind of being the way to reintroduce all of us to the show. Jubilee ends up taking him under his wing, and in the old show, if people don't know, Jubilee is really the way that we were introduced to all the X-Men. So having
Right.
Jubilee kind of be the person that is bringing him in, introducing him to the world is actually really cool, and it's really cute. Like, I love their dynamic and how they're kind of like flirty, and Jubilee's just kind of getting to like really be an X-Men, because I don't think up until this point she really wasn't like officially an X-Men until like kind of the end of season 5, right? Or like towards the end.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly, like, when or if she was ever donned an official, like, place, like, "Hey, you're an X-Men now." It was I always looked excuse me, I always looked at that as one of those, like, they kinda just swept it under the rug without
Yeah.
really saying, like, "Yeah, you're an X-Men, but we're not gonna say that," because Jubilee played more of, like, a child role
Yeah.
where
I mean, she's like
she
16, right?
yeah, like, she's like the baby of the team,
Mhm.
because like, the majority of that of the main cast is, like, all adults, like,
Yeah.
they've been around the X-Men have been around for a very long time, especially, like, Wolverine, like, Logan, we all know his story,
Yeah.
but, like, this shit goes back to, like, the '40s, '50s, '60s, they've been
Uncanny
they
X-Men
yeah,
back
like,
in the
they've been
day,
around, like,
which
and
is
they and
really cool to see the original, like, team
oh, yeah, I was
on
just
in the
about to say
poster on the
that.
wall. Yeah.
Yeah, that like they just hit so many nods
Mhm.
and they acknowledge everything and I love that. So, yeah, I I I I'm just so happy this is here. I can't stress that enough. Like
Right.
I'm not like freaking out, but just understand that like as a longtime X-Men fan, as some like Spider-Man along with X-Men
Mhm.
have they basically I came up with them
They're like
together.
your first love.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, like, I will say this, like, I know that Insomniac we already know that Insomniac is doing Wolverine game,
Mm.
and
Mhm.
because of some of the leaks that got out, we know that there are certain things that are happening
Yep.
in, like, the long term, and I can just tell you right now, I need a game for every character,
Right.
okay? I don't just want an X-Men game, okay? I mean,
Right.
sure, you can do that, but it's just like, I could justify at least the main roster of characters,
Mm.
and then some, that
Mhm.
I could be like, "Yo, I would love to play mad missions and story and go through lore as
Right.
Cyclops, as Cable, as Jean Grey, obviously we're gonna get Wolverine, but then like Psylocke and
Yeah.
Magneto and all, like there's
Everybody.
so many characters. Like, dude, this is why I'm telling you. This is why I keep saying X Men. This is all we needed. This is all
Yeah.
Marvel needed. Everyone's gonna almost forget, like, oh, like that they were upset and like, like, oh, hero fatigue. They're
Mhm.
gonna forget all about that. Once X-Men starts kicking in, it's
Once
over.
they're in those theater seats and the theme song hits for the first time, game over.
And
Game
yo,
over.
speaking of that, did this shit not feel like you were watching a movie?
It did.
The
It's
quality was crazy.
yeah, bar none. It's literally it feels even higher quality than, like, What If did. And What If was like and I wanna touch on this too, is like, what if's animation feels weird. I think I've talked about this before when we talked about it, is like,
Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of it because it's like straight up 3D, whereas this has such a great blend of 2D animation with the 3D that it really feels like so high quality. Like, this is the kind of shit that they need to keep pumping out because it's just so good. You can tell that there's just so much love and care in each brushstroke. Like, ah,
Man, let me tell you, if they decided off of the success of X-Men that they were gonna just do all their Marvel Animation Studios, like, projects like that,
please,
I don't think anyone would complain, and, like,
not at all.
I agree with you, though, like, the 3D, like, CGI kind of animation style,
Mhm.
I've never really been a fan of 3D
Yeah.
animation, it's just for I don't know, like, I don't wanna call it cheap. It's just not my favorite,
Yeah.
you know? It doesn't it's not really appealing as much,
Mhm.
and I feel like, "What's up, babe?" What I feel like, how what's the best way to I'm trying to be respectful, you know,
Yes.
because, like, there's a lot of effort that goes into anything animated,
Oh,
no
yeah.
matter what style,
It's
right?
so hard to do.
Yeah, like yeah, like, and that makes sense, like, 3D is probably easier to produce,
Yeah.
but I will always take a solid 2D animated
Yeah.
series over anything. Like, and I've seen some other 3D shows that, like, I will vouch for, like, on the anime side of things. Like, I've seen this one show called Kengan Ashura, which is,
Mhm.
like, basically like Baki the Grappler,
Okay.
and it's on Netflix, and it's all 3D, right? And I gave it a shot. I like the story, I like the fighting,
Mhm.
but, you know, you try to show it to anyone else and it's like, "Oh, man, like, this
Yeah.
animation is" right? I think that the special sauce is just is like, "Yo, Disney got the money, people gotta stop pretending like, oh, it's too much budget." No, fuck that.
They've got
Spend
infinite
it.
money. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. They have the funds.
Well,
They need to
they only
do
have
it.
so limited funds once the box offices get burnt down, they gotta rebuild them when Deadpool drops. But otherwise, until then, we're good. Until then, we're good.
Alright, so before I go off into, like,
Mm, mm.
speculation station, let's
Yes.
finish these
Okay.
recaps.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We meet Sunspot, very cool. We don't get to see his powers until later, but that's actually, like, super he's literally harnessing the energy of the sun. So fucking nuts. So,
Dude.
we didn't really get introduced into any other mutants. I think he was the
Nah.
only one, in
He's
these
like
2
the
episodes so
only
far.
new he's like the only new kid on the block right
Yeah.
now.
Oh,
Everyone
oh,
else that
oh.
like, everyone else that we've seen, and shout outs to Morph, like, they're using Morph so
Oh,
smart.
so good.
He
He's like,
like
"Yeah, we won't get all these other mutants in, but Morph can be all the other mutants. Here
Yes!
you go."
Yes! Like, that is so
Yeah.
wise. Like, I wasn't even that big of a Morph fan in the
Mhm.
original series.
Well, he wasn't around very much for you to be a fan of, to be fair.
Yeah, but when he was
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
around, like, you know, that's what I mean. Like, he was at the beginning, and then, like, he dies, when they bring him
Mhm.
back, and then, you know, so on and so forth, Mr. Sinister. Um, but yeah, like, now, him like, they decided that they're gonna give him his, like, OG look from the
Yeah.
comics, and then every time he's in a battlefield, he is, like, shuffling through
Yeah,
all these different characters:
yeah.
Archangel, Lady Deathstrike, my girl Psylocke.
Psylocke was so sick. That was awesome.
I was literally
Yeah.
like,
Jaw on the floor.
"Dude,
Incredible.
it's godlike." And
Yeah.
Sunspot, yo, really quick, shout out to Marvel Snap, because I was
Mm.
like, is this guy Sunspot?" And then I fucking like,
They're gonna be our first sponsor with how much we talk about them.
I would love
Please.
that. I would love that to happen, to be completely honest.
Free gems, please.
That's
That's
how
all
it is. That's how they sponsor.
that's all we need, yeah.
They give you gold and
Yeah, we'll take it.
variants.
Maybe I'll start playing. Oh, yeah, please give us the variants.
Yeah.
Okay, so we meet Sunspot. We get to see the X-Men fight, which is really, really cool against, we get to see Master Mold kinda come back,
Mhm.
and get completely demolished in a matter of, like, 5 minutes, which is so awesome. And we find out that Storm is considered an Omega level threat, which is fucking insane. We literally she gets summoned in by Cyclops saying, give him the forecast," which is, like, one of the
Like the goddess
corniest,
she
but,
is.
like, the hardest lines ever. Thank you to the writers. Thank you to everybody for keeping the show as corny and as one-linery as it was, as it should be, because it was every delivery was perfect.
She was
Um,
godlike.
Getting to see Storm come in and just like ice the desert and then have like some of this massive cyclone to suck up all of the oh my god, what the fuck are they called?
The Sentinels?
The Sentinels, thank you, Sentinels.
Sentinels.
Getting to see Storm suck up all the Sentinels was incredible, and getting to see everybody kind of like work together. Um, just I told Sarah, I was like, you need to watch this because you know nothing about X Men, but this is gonna put you on because not only is it like just so well polished, the story's amazing, but that fight, I think she watched that fight with me. She's like, "Wow, that was cool." I was like, "Right? Like this is it's so sick. Like it's so sick." Um, so anyway, we
That's
see
so
Master
good.
Mold kind of die, but find out that Guy Rich is
Oh, Guy
still
Ritchie. Yeah, yeah.
he's still in jail, but he's still pulling the strings. Probably gonna end up being probably one of the big bads of this series going forward, especially with the FOH probably working in tandem somehow because he's supplying them with pieces of Sentinel arms.
Yeah, like they got
So
like the scraps.
yeah, they got the scraps. It was when and speaking of that, the zombie sentinels, like we saw that clip early. I think we got it like
Yeah,
last week. Just getting to see it again was just so sick. Like
yeah,
what an awesome way to reintroduce the sentinels, and kind of have them be like almost like putty like villains just to get squashed. So sick.
yeah,
Um, so all that happens, they get back. Scott is really about to tell everybody that, hey, I'm gonna leave. And then who shows up but Mr. M himself, Magneto, to rain on their parade, in a good way, kind of.
yeah,
Which we
yeah.
find out in episode 2. But so overall, what are your opinions on episode 1? What are your last thoughts?
All right, so for episode 1, I'll try to keep it as like,
Yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah.
into episode 1 as possible. I thought it was a really great way to, like, hit the ground running and to
Mhm.
start us off, like, with a lot of familiar shit. Like, quite literally, you get Gyrick, you get Master Mold, you get Sentinels, Trask gets
Mhm.
mentioned,
Yep.
obviously, Magneto comes in at the end, and you're seeing, like, Leech, you're seeing, like, all these different characters, all the familiar faces, you get to hear everybody, everyone got a line, and, like, you get to see all of them in action, and it's like this is like this is like a spectacle, like 101, how to bring your audience back into the fold
Yeah.
and then some to keep them here and then to also attract new people because like for us returning fans, this is just like nostalgia trip, right?
Yeah.
But
The entire time.
the thing that's great though is that like without nostalgia goggles, I can also appreciate and see that they're not just trying to just be a nostalgia trip. They're trying to tell new stories.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow. So the whole idea, episode 1, the fact that they're already teasing like, yo, Jean Grey and Cyclops,
Mhm.
they're dipping because they're older now. Adulting is fucking real, unfortunately. I hate
Having a
it, right?
kid. Yeah.
And she's pregnant. They're pregnant, right? So like that like Spider-Man goes through the same shit. Like all these heroes that they age, they're just like, damn, like I don't know when do I hang it up? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So like that's already introduced, right? So I'm like, oh wow, like they're about to set up like new mutants, like already, like for like whatever the new X-Men team could
Mhm.
possibly be. I'm sure Jubilee's gonna be in there, Sunspot's
Yep.
gonna be in there, but some of the, and then we'll get to Storm for episode 2, unfortunately, but like this team is about to be like looking crazy,
Yeah.
but it was fire. The episode was
Yeah.
fire.
Absolutely was fire. Rating 10 out of 10, 300 out of 10,
Listen, listen, listen.
97 out of 10.
I'm telling you, I'm gonna tell you right now, we probably don't even have to do ratings for this show
No.
because by the time we get to the final episode, episode 10, I'm predicting right now this show will have a perfect score across the board, all episodes.
A perfect 10. Where's my camera? Perfect 10.
Right. Like it's gonna be that and I didn't even get to like, dude, there's so much to talk about how good this episode was.
Yeah.
Like the fact that like I went into the trailer, when I did
Mhm.
the trailer reaction, I was like, I better hear that theme song. And I heard the theme song. But then I was like in my head, like before I hit play, I was like, man, I wonder if they're gonna like even remix the opening
Right.
like video,
Yeah.
like like how the episode always would start. And they fucking did. And I was just like, this is what happens when you get the right people to
Mhm.
do the right shows and it's just pure love,
Yeah.
and it's just
That's what you
pure
need.
greatness.
Yep.
So shout outs to Kevin Feige
Thank you,
because he's a
Kevin.
big X-Men head, and everyone that's worked on this, whether it was a little line or you wrote a sentence for a character, you're godlike too.
Yes,
Because
sir.
this is like literally one of my favorite shows of all time, my favorite anything of all
Yeah.
time.
Easily is gonna be a lot of top people or a lot of people's top cartoon, top show probably ever. 'Cause not only is it nostalgic, but it's fucking good, you know? It's kinda like how we felt about, Mutant Mayhem. Like, not only was it nostalgic, it was incredible, it just levels, basically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, Everything you said and then some from me, literally I went in probably with, I would say, pretty high expectations just because we've been hyping it up for so long that and I was just so excited to see some X-Men action. But it completely blew me away. Like I've been over the past couple weeks like trying to absorb as much X-Men as I could. And I know the base story. I know basically not everything there is to know about mutants, but pretty much, a lot of it. I just never really sunk my teeth into it. And every step of the way, they were explaining things again, keeping you up to date on everything that's been happening, kind of explaining everybody's powers in an easy way. It was just fantastic. I there, it doesn't get better than this. Like it just doesn't get better than this. So far, 2024 has been on a good streak. It's a good streak for Marvel. So speaking of the openings, we get into episode 2, and when we see episode 1, the first person we see is Cyclops, who is obviously the leader of the X-Men right now with Charles gone. But who
Ah.
do we see but Magneto coming in with the M drip, just the massive M on his chest, coming in, forming the massive X with the steel beams,
Oof.
proclaiming that it is his X-Men now. Um, my God, that just so good. I had to do a double take. I was like, they changed the opening already. Like, oh my God, I can't believe it.
Yep.
And we even get to see Bishop in the opening as well with his little, like, he's falling back through the circles, falling back through time. Um, just they fucking nailed the show. Dude. Like, it's
Dude, it's so like, honestly, it's one of those shows, and admittedly, because I was on short on time, I
Mhm.
skipped the intro for episode 2.
Oh
I
no.
found out about all this shit that you're talking
Yeah.
about after the fact, and I was just like
Ah,
I was like it's like, I'm not gonna say shame on me because I had to go to work, right? So, like,
yeah,
I
yeah,
was
yeah,
short
yeah,
on
yeah.
time,
You're doing what
but,
you could.
what I'm saying is, this is why for a show of this type of quality, you can't skip shit. You gotta let it
No,
rock
sir.
the
Yes.
whole way from start to finish. Like,
Mhm.
you wanna even see the recap previously on X-Men because that's a part of it. That's a part of the
Yes.
experience. And he did that too.
Yes. And we didn't talk about it earlier, but they like remixed the X-Men logo coming in with the electric coming and wrapping around it with the 97. Oh
Yes,
my
like they did
god, it's
yo,
so good.
everything, oh my god. Literally everything. When I say everything, guys, I really mean everything
Everything.
that they could have hit a nod, they did.
Mhm.
They didn't waste any time
And they brought back every single voice actor that they could. I think there's only
that they could,
one. I
right,
think, was
yeah.
it Rogue's voice actor
No,
or
no, no,
is it
so it's,
Jeans?
I don't know. I don't know about
I
jeans. Well,
It's one of the ladies.
I know Rogues is the same, Lenore
Mhm.
Zan. I know that Beast is the same. Cyclops is different because his original actor passed.
Yes.
Um, and oh yes, you're right in time for the gushing.
No,
Yeah,
we're gonna be
but
gushing the whole night, brother. Pause.
Jubilee was different because her original actress actually wanted to pass it to somebody else.
Mm.
Yeah. So
That's so
yeah,
sick. I
yeah.
think
So like
somebody is also, I believe, holds a position in office somewhere. One of the women, I believe, is like
Rogue
a rogue, yes. So I
in
think
Canada.
I think she wasn't able to do it. So,
Nah, but she
um
is. She
oh, she
is.
is? Oh my god.
Yeah,
God
she's
bless.
still voicing Rogue, bro. Like that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not gonna lie, as much as I love her, you could tell that and you could tell with not just Rogue, but with Wolverine too. Like
Mhm.
his is the same voice actor too. Like you could tell that time has obviously passed,
Yeah.
and these lovely individuals that are gracing us with their voice to provide the original voice, you could tell in the work that it's not the pitch perfect. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
sound exactly how it did back in the
Yeah.
day,
Which
but
is
I
okay.
still yeah, but and I appreciate and I get it because it's like, listen, as you age, like, I'm sure your voice
Yeah.
is,
Well,
whatever.
it's like Charles Martinet handing off the role of Mario, Wario, Waluigi, Luigi, and all of them to somebody else over time, right? So it happens, but
Yeah.
it's just so crazy that even the voice actors have this much passion for the project too. Okay, enough gushing for real quick.
Yes,
So
yes.
basically, episode 2, mutant liberation begins. Magneto basically comes in and is like, "I'm running this shit now." But the show starts with Magneto saving families from a collapsing Ferris wheel as he tries to basically rebuild his reputation and resalvage what is left after years and years and years of being Magneto.
That shit was I'm not gonna lie, that shit was terrifying. I'm like, "Dude, imagine being on Ferris wheel and that shit nah,
That's
stop."
why I don't get on them.
Oh,
That's
you're smart.
they're like Sarah's favorite ride, and I'm like, "Nah, I'm good, bro." So I'll have to show her
Uh,
that one, and maybe she'll reconsider.
she'll
But
maybe yeah.
yeah,
Oh, pull up episode 2.
right. Um, so then after that happens, we see him. He's down in the sewers and helps save the group of mutants that Storm is friends with. That I can't remember the name of them off the top of my head.
Oh, yeah, I always
Um,
forget
yeah,
the
so
names,
we see
yeah.
him do that, but then basically, we're back in
The Morlocks, thank
the
you, Jad.
Morlocks. Thank
What's going
you,
on?
Jad. Yes. He goes and saves the Morlocks, which is really cool, showing that he's really trying to channel uh, Xavier. Like he's really trying to change and prove that he's changing, which is awesome to see. It like really shows just how much love the two had for each other. That even after all this, Magneto is still willing to go and kind of just change his ways, right, for the betterment
Yeah.
of not only X-Men, not only of mutants, but for humans and everyone involved. So then we get teleported back to the mansion and see that everybody's in the control room, and where we find out that Genosha is now uh being and I keep getting Geneva
Oh,
and
Genova.
Genova and
That's
Genosha confused in my head.
yeah, that's fine.
Go
That's
play
funny.
Rebirth. We
I
find out
hate
that
this.
Genosha is being used basically as a mutant haven, and I believe the Morlocks are actually being stationed there now, which is really
Mhm.
cool. Then we see a few different things. Rogue and Magneto have a little scene together where Magneto and Rogue are kind of flirty dirty, but we also find out that Magneto's helmet is actually used to block out Charles, which is a retcon
Yes, it is.
as it used to
Yes, it
not
is.
be, the actual thing. I believe somebody who was it? I think, one of the YouTube videos that I watched, they said that that the Magneto's helmet being used to block out Charles is actually from the 2000 X-Men
Yes.
movies specifically, which is kind
Yep.
of wild that it took them that long to kinda come up with that because that's so smart, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, Jonathan Hickman. Yes, thank you, Jonathan Hickman. So to have that be retconned in the show is really cool. I haven't seen anybody nitpick it yet. I haven't seen any. I will say this: I have not heard a single negative thing about this show, and it's incredible to see the comic book community kind of rally around one single
That's
thing
how
and
good
not
this
yeah,
fucking shit is.
exactly.
Dude, I have never seen a single piece of media get 100% on Rotten
Ever.
Tomatoes,
Yeah,
and
and
I
it's
hate
still
that
there.
website.
Yeah, it's still there.
And that's a critic score. That's
Yeah,
not fans. That's a
insane.
critic
Yeah,
score.
insane.
These people these people grew up with X-Men, at least thankfully, or at
Yes.
least we would like to think.
Yeah, they're all our age now or a little bit older.
Maybe yeah, probably a little
Yeah.
older.
Um, so then,
Facts. Have enjoyed
fast
a week. Yes. That's the only
yes.
complaint I have too.
Yeah, amen. This is like the one time where it would have been okay if they dropped it all at once.
No, yo, no, it wouldn't, because then I would have had to been like, listen, I can't go to work.
We can't go to work, sorry.
I need money. Okay. I'm sorry.
Um, fast forward a little bit, the UN is at the mansion and is, wanting Magneto to turn himself in for war crimes, for all the stuff that he's done. Magneto is like, "Screw you," goes to turn the helicopters on on the soldiers, and then, ends up surrendering himself to where he then goes and stands trial. Sorry if you guys are just joining now, but we're kind of hyper driving
Hit
through
the
this.
like button, subscribe if you
Yeah,
haven't already.
please do. Yes, thank you. Magneto goes to stand on trial. The Friends of Humanity then basically attack the trial, and we get to see the Executioner, which fucking incredible villain name for the villain of the X-Men.
Yeah.
Love that. Where then Storm is then shot with a upgraded, what did it call? It's like I believe Beast explained it as like some kind of radiation gun that
Yeah.
zapped her of her powers. So Storm is now powerless. Um, and Magneto is what's sort of looking for. He's pardoned. Magneto becomes pardoned after he basically threatens the UN. I will stomp you out and drop you back down to Earth right now if you do not let us go after what you just did to our friends. So
Dude,
if they ever
that
caught made
part
into a gun, yeah, basically. But
that
yeah,
part was sick.
yes.
Like, that moment right there when they're pushing his buttons. They
Mm-hmm.
really are. And, like, I love to see a character go through it in a way where it's like we've seen them we've seen them do so much, and we've seen them act in certain ways, but then to finally see them come to this very moment where it's like, you just shot one of my own. Reminder, I just not me, but I'm speaking like I'm Magneto. I just went through the fucking Holocaust. And you're gonna basically do what I already had lived through, but you're gonna do it with my mutants now. See, now we have a problem. Even after all that, he at least made them all collectively piss and shit
Yeah,
themselves
literally.
because he took them all the way up to the top of the planet, had them looking around just to see everything. They was shivering, and he's like, "Don't make me let you down," or some shit like that. And
Yes.
oh, what a line! That was crazy. I was
Yeah.
like, dude, to see the growth on a
Hmm.
character like Magneto
So quickly too.
is so yo, but that's what I'm saying. The pacing of this is 2 episodes. 2 episodes.
Yeah.
What's gonna happen episode 3, 4?
Don't
Bro.
make me let you down. Such an iconic everything that every word that has come out of his mouth since he appeared on screen has been poetry. Like the man is incredibly well spoken. It's so, so good. There's too many quotes. I wish I would have wrote them all down.
Yeah,
Oh, I missed this important part. In the midst of all this happening, Jean goes into labor. And
right.
one of the funniest lines happen where Jean says, Logan, he's here. And Logan says,
What?
"Who? Apocalypse?"
Apocalypse. I I cracked up at that shit.
So good. Um, so then Jean and Logan then rush to the hospital. Scott is whisked away after getting kind of manhandled by the executioner. Um, and then we see Rogue steal steal a surgeon's ability to operate.
Okay, sorry, so pause. I wanna say that as a huge Rogue fan, I questioned that because
Mm,
I was like, "Wait a minute. I thought she could steal other people's powers, not
mm.
their skills, like, for humans."
Right, right, right,
So,
right, right.
to me, that was new, but I don't know if that's ever been something that she's done in the comics before,
Mm-hmm.
and if so, then kudos to my
I
girl
wonder. I
Rogue.
wonder if it's like a stealing of knowledge.
It has to be. That's what I'm saying. It's
Yeah.
like, it's skills. It's like,
She
you
absorbs her
know
memories too. Got it. That makes sense.
yeah,
Roman
see,
said,
she's
"I
OG.
guess non-bigoted doctors were out of network." Absolutely, we're out of network. That's
They were
that's
they were
so
out of
funny.
network. That's fucked.
Yeah. So great scene actually.
Yeah,
All that interaction just kind of emphasizing how the world still feels about mutants. Just absolutely terrible.
yeah,
So she gives birth. We have a nice baby boy named Nathan. Great name. Awesome name, even some would say. And then we are back in the mansion, only for them to joke around that somebody's going to ring the doorbell at any moment. Or start, who was it? Morph was basically like, "Oh, somebody's going to ring the doorbell at any moment," or it might have been Rogue. Only for the doorbell to ring, and then who is at the door but Jean herself?
bro. At this moment, I had to do some research.
Yeah.
'cause I was like, "What?" At this point, I was like, "Alright, what the fuck's going on here?"
I'll be
Right?
real. I don't know what the fuck's going on. So
I think I have a grasp at what's going
okay.
on, okay? Now this is a character that I am very, very vaguely familiar with,
Hmm.
and I say very, very vague because it's been in recent issues of things that I have been reading over the past year in 2023 that mentions her by name, and
Okay.
Jad hit it. Madeline Pryor.
Mm.
Okay. Madeline Pryor, for those that don't know, is a clone of Jean Grey created by Mr. Sinister.
Holy
So,
shit.
yeah. Dude, so, like, so now it's so alright, so here's the thing. So, for those that might be asking, okay, so then who's the real Jean?
Right.
I'm pretty sure the Gene that we've had on screen the first few episodes, I think that's the original Gene. I
Mm.
think I think the character that's coming in right now that rang the door, I think that's Madeline Pryor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. I guess it would I would have to go back to see if there's any time between when everything with the Phoenix Force happens, if there's any moments where Jean is gone, if anything with Mr. Sinister is
Yes,
happening, right? So it's,
it does.
yeah,
In the original, yeah,
yeah,
he, like, kidnaps her. There's a period of
got it.
time where she's basically under his captivity,
Mhm,
and then she comes back later on.
got it.
So it's like there was been plenty of time where he could have experimented and had all that shit too.
Gotcha. So if you're listening to this on Spotify, which we're gonna put up on Spotify because you know, content, our chat, Mr. Jad is saying that, Madeline is actually the one that got knocked up and the actual Jean is at the door.
You think so?
So,
Okay,
it'll be
okay.
very, very interesting to see who's who. I could see a case for both. So Gene comes back, Scott ditched Madeline, and Nate to be with Gene. Super cool. Oh, well, how do we know? That'll be interesting. So I know that Cable is the son of Scott and Gene, correct? Or is Gene's son?
Well, see, this whole Madeline Pryor
Yeah.
shit, that's where I'm just like, dude, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because, dude, I don't even know. Like, cause okay, so the whole so this okay, Nathan Summers,
Yeah.
right? That's Cable.
Yeah.
All right. So there's other kids too,
Right.
apparently. There's Hope Summers, and then there's another girl. And I'm just like, where the fuck they have all these kids? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, dude, this is sick. But so far, from what I know, I like, cause I mean, I could be wrong as far as
Mhm.
like who the coolest kid is that they breed. That's a terrible way to put it. But like, yeah, but that's a terrible way to put it.
Yeah, don't
But
say that
dude,
again.
Cable is
Yeah.
OD
OD.
because apparently he gets sent to the future because he gets some like disease.
Yes.
Yo,
Yes.
and he doesn't know who his parents are. He just knows them by name. He's like, "Oh, yeah, I heard of them."
Got it.
It's fucking crazy.
Wild. Just like Scott with his dad.
Yeah.
Passing on the trauma.
Oh, Hope Summers has no relation to any of them? Oh, really? What the fuck?
Interesting.
I thought Hope was, I thought Hope was one of the see, that's the thing. See? As an X-Men fan, I don't even know all this shit, bro.
We're
There's a
gonna get
lot.
educated. We're gonna have Jad on the show next week. He's gonna educate us on on everything that's happening.
Listen, Jad knows a lot of shit. I'll tell you that right now.
I'm about to dive into the wiki for myself. So
Damn.
we'll see next week. Next week's gonna be really interesting. Hey man. Well, we'll get into that. But next week's gonna be really interesting. I This is the most I've looked forward to a show since Moz.
What about Loki? Come on, stop.
Oh, that's fair.
You're
My
tripping.
timeline's out of whack.
Yes, it is. It's
Okay, so
alright.
since Loki, Moz, yeah, and those 3 have been it, you know? So this is, like, back in the saddle again. I'm so
So
excited.
what did you think about episode 2?
I
Since you
fucking
asked me
loved it.
first.
It was traumatizing because Storm loses her powers. Just insane.
Right,
Like, I had no
right.
idea that was gonna happen, didn't think anything of it. I really thought Magneto was gonna take the hit and something was gonna happen with him. Like, that's kind of I was thinking, "Okay, he's gonna give up, or he's gonna show how much he is willing to change for the X-Men." Nope. Storm takes a shot. Holy shit. Now Storm doesn't have powers after we just saw the huge display of her powers, her connection with Jean and everything that they have going on, the sisterhood between them. So impactful and helpful for Jean for her to then just dip. Insane. For there to be another Jean, wild. And I'm very interested to see how Magneto continues to evolve. And I know that this is kind of like who Magneto is in canon in comics, which is like awesome because I love this kind of character that's just super troubled, just is a good guy sometimes, but also can be just a massive piece of shit, just kind of misunderstood dude.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, Seeing her jump at lightning during a storm, poetic, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yes,
That's
yes, so sad.
there's so much, man. That's why
And
X-Men is goated.
right? And everything with, how poetic Magneto is to when they're in the UN chamber and he creates those massive swords out of all the metal from the room, and then Storm uses her electricity to make those, like, fucking cages. It almost felt like Swords of Revealing Light kinda deal for
Bro,
me.
they quite literally made an electromagnetic field.
Yeah, it was crazy. So
Swords are
yeah,
revealing
yes,
light.
that's how it felt.
Ex
Well, it kinda looked like him when they were all up in the air.
Yes.
Um and the imagery of Magneto standing there in chains, I believe that was a reference to a comic book from back in the day when he was also being prosecuted for something else. This it like
Crazy.
it's just gonna keep getting better, and I'm so glad that this is like one of the first Marvel things that I don't know shit about because I'm getting to experience this all in real time and like nothing's
Yeah.
spoiled for me, right?
Yeah.
You know, like I don't know what's gonna happen. Like now that Storm is powerless, anything can happen. I'm sure there's a way that she can get her powers back somehow. Maybe
Mhm.
going to the past or going to the future. Who fucking knows? I'm I'm so locked in. And I'm so ready for more. The next Wednesday just can't come soon enough. I will stay up until 3 a.m. to watch this fucking show when it drops. Maybe.
Or you could just do the smart thing, just wake up early
Yeah, I'll just get up with
like I
you.
did.
And yeah.
Exactly. Like, do that. Do
Yeah.
that.
So this is like it doesn't get better. Marvel TV is where it's at. You know, we knew this from back when we were kids to now.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like, it's like so alright, so let me ask you this now. So,
Mm,
this might be a little early,
okay.
but just to get the conversation going, we got chat going on. You guys can feel free to jump in. We'll, read some of you guys what you're saying and
Mhm, mhm,
everything.
mhm.
But as a new fan for you, as returning fans, like, in chat, what is everybody feeling like? What are we feeling like will end up happening, or what do you wanna happen? What are you expecting? What do you want to see?
I want Charles come back. I think that's a given. Is it's gonna happen at some point, right?
I
Charles gonna come back. There's gonna be Storm's gonna go on some kind of journey and discover something either big about herself, more mutants, something like that. Um, I'm assuming Sinister is gonna be the biggest bad because that's kind of what all signs are pointing to.
correct, yep.
Um, and so I'm really because even in the intro, we see Sinister with Morph. So who's to say that Morph isn't still he was like
Mind
possessed, right? Like,
controlled,
yeah,
right, yeah,
who's to
yeah,
say all
yeah,
that still isn't going on? Because Morph's a weird dude. So and everything with Jean getting these clones now involved. It's
yeah.
looking like Sinister's really gonna be the big bad, especially being that they took out, Master Mold, like, literally episode 1. They're kinda like, "Okay, no, Master Mold's done.
Yeah,
Watch
nah,
what you
like,
do."
you know how many times they fucking dealt with that motherfucker
Yeah,
in
right,
the
in Twisted
original?
Jack. I don't know, this time they exploded Wolverine to kill him, so who knows?
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I don't know. Like, Apocalypse, I guess, will probably come back at some point too. I would really love to see Cable as well. And it's nice to have Bishop really involved. So I don't know. There's just so much going on. I just kind of want to see all the X-Men. Like I know that's probably gonna be a lot.
yeah, yeah,
So that's kind of my biggest thoughts right now is Sinister's gonna be the big bad, obviously. Charles gonna come back. Probably since there is a season two, I'm sure we'll probably get Charles at the end and kind of lead into season two with maybe him and Magneto leading the charge against Sinister and Apocalypse or something.
yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm thinking now.
That's okay. That's good. So I'm gonna read some of what we got in chat before I reveal mine.
Okay.
So Jad says that they got ideas. Curious to see what they piecemeal together
Yeah.
for the story, which is very true and great valid point because we have to remember that being that this is an adaptation of the comics, they are basically taking little arcs from here and there, and they're presenting it in this, animated
Mhm.
series, right?
Which I
So
love.
yeah, which I love too, and, like, that's honestly, like, the best way you can adapt because, I mean, it's like, you can't really ever have something one to one because if
That would
you
be
do,
impossible.
it's like, okay, like, it's cool you saw it in live action in some way, like, in motion, right? But, like, if there's no twists and turns, like,
Yeah.
it's not as, you know
Yeah, exactly.
exciting, right?
Yeah.
So that's something that I can definitely vouch for. And then Roman said a few things. Roman's like, I'm ready to sign a petition for the Spider-Man John next.
Yo,
Where do I
amen, brother.
sign?
Yeah.
Where do I sign?
Link
I'm
it,
sure.
please.
And honestly, listen. I'm sure, guys, that, and this is also something Roman said, the cameos, right?
Yes.
They did confirm on social media that cameos will still happen. Now I hope it's not just on some fucking morph shit, okay? Like I
Right.
I I need to see the characters. Now, the one character, and I know we're already kind of talking about him, Spider-Man, okay? Our boy Spider-Man,
Mhm.
my man Peter Parker, okay? He has already crossed over and done team ups with this team in the past in the 90s.
Yes.
So he is the perfect character to obviously just do it again with.
Yep.
Will they do it is the next big question.
I wonder if they can do it.
And that's what I was gonna say next. Is like, and if they actually can do it. Now, here's what I think. Disney gotta just do this. Okay. They just gotta fucking lay it on the table and remind Sony who the fuck is the boss around
Yep.
here.
Mhm.
Okay. Because, dude, you can't have a pivotal thing to take place, such as X-Men 97. It's doing so much for people, and they can't have no other outside interference
Right.
fucking this up. If they wanna throw Spider-Man in there, damn it, they better have his ass in there. And Sony better not say a word,
Yeah.
especially after what they did with Madam Web, they better not say nothing. Ever. Ever. Okay, if they wanted to take back Craven just to be safe, I wouldn't even be mad. Don't even make an announcement. Just be like, "Oh, what happened? I
I
don't know."
don't know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Right. So that's my thing.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, all right. So let me answer
Okay. Yeah.
myself
Yeah, yeah,
before
yeah.
I read any more. What I truly want to happen is something. Oh, see, that's even perfect. Marvel has the TV rights for Spider
There we
Man. Well,
fucking
there
go.
you go.
That makes sense that as to why
We
he's in the opening crawl.
we're in there,
Yeah.
so we're safe. We're safe, right? So we ain't gotta worry about it. So check this out. The one thing that, and I go back and forth with Crystal about this, right? The one thing that I accepted, but as time went on and I see how different stories tell time as far as, like, you know what I'm saying? Like how they treat the laws of time and like how it works and
Right.
this and that, right? For those that might not know, X-Men does a very old-fashioned way of telling us a story about, like, time-related things where, you come from the future, you change something in the past, it affects your future.
Right.
Marvel Studios and Dragon Ball Z, I believe, are the best ways to do it because it makes more sense to me that way, and I think it's more enjoyable, but for the sake of X-Men, they have stuck with this way of telling the story where Cable comes back to prevent something from happening. So that way, when he goes back to his time, it's like he gets the outcome that he wants,
Yeah.
right? But when you try to translate that into how Marvel Studios with the MCU has been doing it, that shit wouldn't make any sense at all.
Not at all.
If Cable was to go back and change something and then go back to his time would stay the fucking same. He
Right.
just made a
He's a
branch.
variant now. Yeah.
And right. So that's what I'm trying to say. So what I would what I would really love, and I know that they've already said this, where they said that X-Men 97 is essentially going to be self-contained. It's pretty much going to follow the same type of, shit that they've been
Yeah.
doing. I hope there's a moment where we get a character or we get something that happens and they essentially like imagine if a TVA person showed up.
Mm.
Imagine if a fucking TVA person showed up and it's just like, yeah, so all of what you guys have been doing, y'all been causing mad branches
Mhm.
in reality, and y'all just didn't know, right? In the original X-Men animated series, they actually have a moment where they go to the end of time. But they called it the axis of time. So it's just
Mhm.
different
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
different terminology, but the same shit.
Right.
And guess who was there?
Kang or a Kang variant
Kang.
anyway, yeah.
Yes. So like yo,
Makes sense.
this is their chance to say like listen people I'm always the person that's very I'm the first one to be like all right we got to think outside the box, right? What are they telling us? What do they want us to think? How do they want us to think? All right, fuck all that. This is what they're trying to hide, right? That's how
Yeah,
I
yeah,
see that shit, you know what I'm saying? So if they're going out publicly and saying yeah nah it's gonna be like this, they're trying to rule that shit out of all of our heads. Nope, that's what they want us to fucking think. I watch wrestling. This is how it works over there too. Okay, so that is how I am. Yes, what? That's what. That's literally that's what I do. That's what I think. And like the possibilities are endless. They could
yeah.
literally throw in whoever. Imagine they have a moment where Cable comes back in
Mhm.
but in his dialogue, he reveals like, "Yeah, I just came back from doing this thing with Deadpool." Yo, if Spider-Verse was able to connect the live action
All of
with
them.
animated, then so can X-Men, bro.
Yeah.
So can X-Men. Like Marvel, this is like Marvel's already winning in my book.
Yeah.
DC has no shot. Okay, I'm sorry, but they
Ooh,
don't.
don't even know her.
They don't even know her, right? They got no fucking chance, right? If they do that, DC better just be like, all right, Disney, how much? You give us an offer, please. Put us out of our fucking misery, please. Just do it. I'm telling
One
you.
day. I would love that. I would love to see I think we'll get the answer to the time travel within X-Men 97 in the Deadpool movie, because Deadpool is doing all the time travel shenanigans, kinda similar to how Cable is doing them in the animated series. And so that's probably going to be a huge factor in Deadpool 3 is, hey, you've fucked all this up. Now come help us unfuck it. I don't know if we'll necessarily see that happen in the animated series or 97, but I think it'd be cool to somehow tie them together. But I think they're trying to keep it self-contained, but it'd be so sick to I think somehow involving Kang, bringing Kang back in, would really then tie it into the MCU, but I believe they're trying to keep it separate. But I want them to tie it together because that'd be
they,
so fucking sick.
listen, they could try. Listen, if it's like an integrity thing, I understand that. That's fine. I'm gonna love and watch this show regardless. I'm
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
saying
Yes.
while we have the opportunity, and hey, look, it
Mhm.
might not even happen this season.
That's
If
true.
they tease it, whew, I'll take a tease.
It
I'll
would
go to the fucking bank, to the moon and back with a tease.
it would be the perfect way to introduce the Fantastic Four coming back for a cartoon.
Oh, so speak all right, so I'm glad you brought that up because we got some comments in there that
Yes,
brought that
sir.
up. So let's see. So I think it was let's see. Okay, Jad says this. He goes, based on the whole Madeline Pryor nonsense that's about to happen, you will most likely see the Fantastic Four show up at some point.
Fuck yeah.
And the Fantastic Four is how the crew find out what happened with the original Gene, bro. And they're all in the fucking opening animation.
Yep.
All of the show Silver Surfer,
Yep.
the Spider-Man, like it's gonna happen, boys. It's
Mhm.
gonna fucking happen.
Just gotta give it time. The marinade.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Like we're like I said, all we needed was X-Men to come back.
Yeah.
Now they just need to keep giving us X-Men shit.
Yep.
Like
Easy.
on some real stuff. Also, before I forget, Crystal said So she wants to see Charles come back, a lot of character development, and to see some other characters included from the MCU or reference.
Interesting.
That's
We
why
definitely
that's my fiance right
we definitely could see Cap because Cap has been in the show.
Facts.
Spider-Man's been in the show. It I would love to see like a retro Iron Man in '97.
Yo, I never watched that cartoon. There's actually all of them besides X-Men and Spider-Man. I've never seen like
You ever
I've
watched
never
like the Hulk?
no, I never seen
Yeah.
I never saw a Hulk show. I didn't see Iron Man's, didn't see Fantastics 4, Samurai, Silver Surfer. I didn't see none of those fucking shows because it
Gotcha.
wasn't because I avoided them. They never came on when I was watching
Yeah, yeah,
TV.
yeah, yeah. They weren't as good as X-Men or Spider-Man was because Spider-Man was huge.
Oh yeah, no.
So,
Yeah,
but
I heard
I
good things about the Fantastic Four and
yeah,
Silver Surfer though. I did
yeah.
hear good things about it.
Probably why the movie got made. So,
Wait, Joey, I okay. This right here, this is a clip. We have a lot of clips, but
yeah.
this was definitely one, right? Okay, this is me stretching, right? But I'm having fun with this.
What do you got?
Okay. You mentioned Cap.
Mhm.
Yo, what if they had a moment or something where they're fucking with time and they come across Cap when he's trying to put the stones back.
Oh,
Oh,
that'd be sick.
that would be
I thought you were
crazy.
going another direction where recently Chris Evans said he would love to come back as Johnny Storm.
He said that?
I'm pretty sure he said that, yeah.
Oh, no. That's crazy.
So
Oh
imagine
my
if we
god.
got a Chris Evans Johnny Storm in the cartoon, in whatever, in Deadpool 3. Aren't you supposed to be Captain America?
Oh my god, it's gonna happen.
Could you imagine? Yeah.
Dude, that what you
You
just said, that
you
line,
say,
that's gonna
"Flame
happen.
on,"
That's gonna fucking
and
happen.
then
Joey, you literally dude, this is how my brain works. You're that dude, that's gonna happen. Aren't you supposed to be Captain?
Where's your shield?
Where is the fucking shield? Oh my god.
Yeah,
And
so
then he's gonna look right back at him, and he's gonna be like, "Aren't you, like, supposed to be the Green Lantern?" Dude,
uh,
that like I keep saying, that's just gonna break
yeah,
the box office,
easily.
bro. There's gonna be no box office.
No box office. You know how we were with Sun and Moon?
Oh,
We
yeah.
are now locked in for for Deadpool 3.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
you look very familiar? Yeah, absolutely.
It's
Because
gonna happen.
Deadpool's never met Cap. So it'll be
He saw
very
him in that video in the
he did
trailer.
see yeah.
He literally
So it'll be interesting. I wanna see I would love to see, like, multiversal, Fantastic Four because there's now 3 teams. So, to get any of them to come back would be sick.
Yeah, and to think we're getting all of this off of just excitement and hype off of the first 2 episodes of X-Men '97. We're not like, we haven't even they actually put out, a list of what all of the,
Yes.
episode titles are.
Yeah.
Do you wanna talk
Yeah.
about the episode 3 real
We'll
quick?
run down them. Let me find it real fast. Who put it out? That's probably Marvel
Yeah,
Studios.
it's either that or, one of the X-Men, accounts.
Um,
Oh,
just a
wow.
real quick Easter egg that, I learned about earlier was that in the executioner's little office when he was getting ready, there's a picture, the Wolverine looking at the picture of Jean and Scott is on his wall.
Are you serious?
Yeah, in the office. Yeah. I think that was a fan made thing because the official Twitter didn't tweet
Oh,
it. So
maybe, I don't
if you
know.
got the list, let me see if I can find.
Look up Inferno storyline for X-Men. Dude, there's so many arcs that I need to read. You know, the funny thing is I was actually so I in my, as far as my comics are concerned, from what
Mhm.
I've been checking out, I recently did read Ultimate X-Men #1, which is a story about armor. That was a pretty good story.
Mm.
I'm gonna try my best to keep up with those releases as they come out. However, there's like a whole Fall of X event happening right now, and if I can pull that shit up real fast just to
Yeah.
show you not even just to show you, but to tell you like, okay, this is how crazy it gets. Oh, I also read Miss Marvel. Miss Marvel #1 is a part of Miss Marvel Mutant Menace is a part of Fall of X event right now. So I'm gonna go all the way to the end and oh shit.
Okay, I got the list from
Oh,
IMDb. So
okay, go ahead.
okay, so the next episode is titled "Fire Made Flesh." Ooh. Episode 4 is Motendo, Motendo, or Life Death Part 1. Number 5 is Remember It. Number 6 is Life Death Part 2. Number 7 is Bright Eyes. And then the last 3 episodes are a three-parter.
Oh.
For Tolerance is Extinction Part 1, 2, and 3. God damn.
So yeah, so that Inferno shit that Jad was mentioning, that already started apparently. Cause yo, I'm telling you that we might see some Phoenix action in episode 3. That's what it
It's gonna
sounds like.
from what I've heard is that the episode is specifically gene-based.
So it
So,
makes perfect sense
yeah,
to me.
yeah,
All right, so check this out, right? So Fall of X right now. So I'm looking at the end of this Miss Marvel comic.
yeah.
So she had her #1, came out March 6th. It's now currently March 21st,
Mhm.
if you're listening, watching right now. After this is supposed to be X-Men issue 32 that also came out on the same day. Then there's Dead X-Men #3. Then there's Fall of the House of X #3. Then there's Wolverine 45, Resurrection of Magneto #3, X-Men Forever #1, Rise of the Powers of X #3, Cable #3, Wolverine 46, and X-Force 50. And that's all just for this
My
month.
god. X-Men are
Crack.
they're crack, they are it. They are him.
They are all over the
Yeah,
place,
that's
but
crazy.
you you'll if you honestly were ever bored and had time,
Just read X-Men.
you could literally start anywhere with X-Men and you'll never run out of content.
Alright, then I'm gonna ask you
Literally.
this. Where if I were to start I wanna read, like, old X-Men. Is it the John Hickman run? Is it what is, like, the X-Men run that I should read?
I personally, and this is just me saying this because I love the art, I would just start with the Jim Lee shit.
Yeah, that's fair. Emily's sick,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
So let
figured I
me
figured Jad probably has an answer. Roman asked, "My question is where are all the students?" And
Oh,
I
yeah,
fucking
good
agree.
question. That's a good
'Cause
question. Yeah, where the
because
fuck
they
they
were
go?
fucking all the adults were outside playing basketball with none of the none of the students.
Dude, you know what's funny? I'm pretty sure that might be one of those things, like, if you were to ask the directors, they'd probably be like, "Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't put
W
any kids in.
we forgot about that shit too," but honestly, like, I didn't fucking even think of him until now,
Yeah. I
you
guess
know?
there's so much going on that, it would be too much to have a side story right now because you're telling this compact story in 10 episodes, and this is what a lot of people said about the, original series is that the pacing was so fast. Like, they went
Yes,
through Days of Futures Past in, like, just a handful of episodes, right? So
correct. Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
for them to tell these stories, they gotta, like, just smush it. So it makes sense there's no students.
Well, to be
We'll see.
fair, yeah, they didn't even have students back in the day either, now that
Yeah.
I think about it. It was literally just Drupa Lee. She was the youngin',
Yeah.
so
Yeah, and I guess now, Roberto is probably gonna be the newest student. I'm assuming he's gonna be in future episodes.
I liked how
New
they
Mutants.
introduced him a
Yeah,
lot. I did. He seems like he's gonna be a cool character. It's not every day where you get, like, a rich kid to, like, be a part of the team,
right.
but he seems like he's not, like, that much of a snob, I hope.
Yeah,
So, I actually just I really wanna see Sunspot in action
me too.
because outside of Marvel Snap, I've never seen
Yeah.
Mans do anything, you know?
His power seems fucking insane. He can
Yeah.
control the sun, basically, the energy of the sun. Nuts. So, Roman said the pacing felt just as fast in these 2 episodes. Yeah, the pacing felt so fast, but also felt, like, really good. Like,
Oh, yeah.
it felt right, and, like,
Oh,
I know
yeah.
they're trying to tell a story. but it
Oh,
was
yeah.
just every beat was phenomenal.
Mhm.
Do you think they're gonna go, New Mutants season
Absolutely.
2? Yeah.
Yeah, that's so for season 2, maybe. I think either way, whether it's into the 2nd season or during the 2nd
Mhm.
season or at some point one way or another, it does seem very obvious
Yeah.
that they do want to build another team of, like, not the same cast, um, but I feel like depending on what that team would look like, I don't know if it will be as well received because, like,
Yeah.
for me at least, X-Men as a franchise has so many fucking characters, but it's like a decently sized handful of the same ones that are really, like, you know, beloved by the fans,
Yeah.
right? And they're all on my shirt.
Yes, they are.
Okay, like, the fact that Iceman's not even there, crazy. Psylocke, crazy. Colossus, crazy. That's why you got Morph, right?
Yep.
Morph is just
Yeah,
basically the
everybody
filler
else.
for all that shit. But like, the fact of the matter is Cyclops and Jean already teasing that they're moving on. A team without Jean Grey and Cyclops already is nuts.
Yeah.
But then Storm lost her powers.
So
So
now
now
they're
you're not
down
gonna have
3.
no Storm.
Yeah, they're down 3.
It's like, okay, you might as well just tell Beast to fucking take a hike
Yeah,
and
right?
send Wolverine to do something else then, because it's just
Yeah.
like, what are we doing? So that's why to me, I'm just like, man, I don't know. Like you gotta I can understand maybe like one, maybe two characters go, and then like you get some new guys or whatever,
Yeah.
or some other familiar, like loved characters. You know what I'm saying?
There's
Because
so many X-Men.
and that's what I'm saying. Like
Just
there's
bring in
just
the X-Force.
yeah, but see, that type of shit is more for the fans that are already familiar with them and
Yeah.
that are or for sorry, or for people that are like easily willing to accept,
Yeah. That makes
you
sense.
know,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
cuz I'm telling you right now, and I'm not speaking for myself when I say this, cuz trust me, they put out anything X-Men, I'm in there.
yeah.
Okay? Like I'm in there. But I feel like the second they start deviating and they start, like,
Mm,
reforming this
yeah,
team, and it doesn't look like the original team in the slightest, people are gonna be like, they're gonna pass up on it,
yeah.
and
I
I
mean,
don't want that.
people are already feeling that way about Morph before the show even aired, so
Yeah, but you know what? I'm happy with how they're using him so
me too.
far, and he is basically like our character that like, he's the surprise character. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, who's he transforming into this week?
right. Yeah. Roman said we might lose Gambit soon too because of Rogue Nito, which is very true. It's very true.
Yo, can I man, we didn't even get to talk about
Eh.
that shit, bro. Like, the fact that they got history, and then I found out later after the fact that there's a whole arc where they do have a history.
Mhm.
I'm like,
And she can touch him, which is the biggest thing. Yeah.
that is the
Just
biggest thing because that's been her whole story, is
yeah,
that she can't touch nobody, she can't be touched by nobody. I'm not trying to say that in a sexual way, obviously, so relax,
right.
right? But like, and after a while, that does suck.
Yeah,
Like you can't even hug nobody without, you
right.
got to have your gloves on or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. Skin to skin is huge.
yeah, so that's like the one part missing in her life, and
Mhm.
it seems like Magnus is about to be, possibly, but that's gonna create some friction, that
Yep, a lot of
triangle.
friction.
Oof, I don't
I
know.
wonder if it's gonna be the team disbands, everybody ends up going their own way, something massive happens, team needs to come back together, Charles comes back, team is back together, leads into final 3 or even into the next season. 'Cause I the way it looks right now, it's like everything's kind of all slowly crumbling.
Yeah,
It's holding together well right now, but I'm sure over time it's just gonna be One Piece falls and falls and falls and falls. So we'll see what happens, next week with,
Yeah, yeah.
the clone, because
Yeah, with Madeline
that's really
Pryor.
good. Yeah, Madeline Pryor, that's really gonna, kinda determine the fate of the team at this point. It kinda feels like
Yo,
so
wait, wait. So to bring back something that Jad had said when he revealed like what happens in the comics, right?
Mhm.
So when Scott learns the truth that he's been with somebody that is not his gene, yo, do you think he's gonna do the same shit? Be like, you're not Gene? That's not my kid. You think they're gonna do that on X
I
Men?
don't know. The show is very smart. I don't think that they will do that to Scott.
They're gonna call up Steve Wilkos, Maury on X Men.
Yeah,
You are
right?
not the
But he
father.
would be.
He would, yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
he
fucked
would
up. Yeah, he
be.
would be. He would be.
It would be his and Gene's kid regardless, so,
Yeah.
God, I don't
Or
know.
Matt or him and Madeline,
Him and Madeline,
right?
yeah.
Him and Pryor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sheesh. That's so
Find out
fucked.
next week on Maury.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Imagine if he got to narrate previously on
Yeah, that'd be
X-Men.
fucking hilarious. He's such a Boy Scout, he might stick it out. Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Yeah, but then, like, what's Jean gonna do?
Right?
Like,
She's gonna be
how
like,
is she gonna think?
hello?
I don't know. It's a
Who knows?
clone, so it's like her, but it's not. I don't know.
Yeah,
Find out
tricky,
next time.
right? Yeah. Alright, any last words?
The one thing that sucks about this is that we do have to wait a week. This shit is like, I'm so happy that we have this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be sad when it's over,
Oh, same.
but then, like, I hope that one of the first things that they decide to do is it's on Blu-ray.
Yeah, see
I
oh,
will buy the
fucking
fuck out of it.
please.
I will buy the shit out of that shit.
Yeah,
Easily.
yeah.
Oh, and they're supposed to have a separate comic line that's, like, supposed to be 97 themed.
Because I know that they had the animated series comic line itself, so it's cool that they're bringing it back
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
show,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Interesting. They're working on season 3, so there's more to look forward to. Thank God.
We don't even have 2 yet, bro. They're working
Yeah.
on the 3rd season. Think about that shit for a second, man. I'm telling you, they this is their chance to really mix in with the MCU, bro. They have to. They could be all self-contained they want right now.
Yeah.
The second a TVA member shows up, and they'll be like, "This is not how this works." Oh!
I'll say I wouldn't even mind if they developed a separate universe for them, where it's Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, X-Men, and they had another show, whatever. It's all playing in its own universe while the MCU is over here doing its own thing. You know what I mean?
Okay, so alright, so to advocate for you what you're saying, that does make sense as
Yeah.
well. Just because, having like an animated universe is
It makes
very
sense.
fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very fair because there's been previous animated shows that you might not have even heard about that have existed, not from the old days, but like
Yeah.
I'm talking like the Netflix shits that randomly pop up. Like
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
been like
yeah.
a Spider-Man show. There's been a few, and there was one that I actually watched like years and years ago, and this motherfucker was like in the Avengers. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the hell are the Avengers doing in his show? But that's
Right?
what was going on. So like I feel like they could definitely do something like that. But then at the same time, I'm almost like, well, isn't that kind of what if is supposed to be doing? But again, I wouldn't complain if they were to do that. However, I will ultimately always come back around
Mhm.
to saying what I've been saying is that you can have your universe where it's animated, but guess what? That is why a multiverse exists.
Amen.
We have literally seen in plenty of examples, especially in Multiverse of Madness,
Yes.
that quite literally there are several different types of universes that are not just live action, that are not just cartoon. They go wacky and crazy. So for them to like pigeonhole
Yeah.
certain things is silly in a way. But if they wanted it to be like, okay, well, we're gonna have an animated universe, so that way it's like we can tell certain stories in a certain way with certain characters at like a more like frequent rate. I
Yeah,
understand that.
yeah,
That's fine. But like, bro, Spider-Verse literally had live action actors in an animated show that connected things, referenced things, called back to things that happened in other types of films. While they have this opportunity to do it, they would be foolish not to eventually do it.
absolutely.
So it's
Yeah,
fine. They could do it. They can set up how they want, but at some point,
bring him in. You can't
they
live in the
have
'90s forever.
nah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I think it'll be one day. I think once all this right now with the Kang saga settles and the multiversal saga settles, I think it's gonna somehow all intertwine.
Yo, and like, and think about it. Like the rumors of the Charles Xavier that we saw in Multiverse of Madness, he in the yellow chair.
Yep.
Is that just a coincidence, or are
Right.
they gonna connect that?
Who knows? Yeah, I mean, he's dead, so we'll see. Yeah, right.
Well, okay, he
He
did
yeah,
die
he's dead.
in
That one's
that
dead.
one. Yeah,
But
yeah.
we don't know what Charles looks like in the universe that connected with, Monica Rambeau.
We
So
don't know that
we
yet,
did see
no.
Beast. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
who
Beast
knows?
was looking very 90s animated series like,
Yes,
though.
with the coat and
So
everything. Who
and then
knows?
Wolverine's about to have the yellow suit,
Yep.
so
Yeah.
it's like layups.
You see the rumors that Henry Cavill may be, Wolverine?
No,
Yeah.
I did not see that.
That's the current rumors that, he may be a Wolverine variant alongside of Hugh Jackman, and then could be Wolverine in the MCU. Maybe.
DC fucked up.
Yeah, they did. Yes, they did.
Okay, I can
Yes, they
kinda
did.
see it, but if I see it happen on screen, I will say what I said earlier. I said, "Okay, DC, it's time."
Yep.
Like, I know y'all got James Gunn. Yeah, nah. I know y'all got James Gunn. I know he's trying to build that shit up.
Yeah,
Listen,
game over. Game over, bro.
sell the rights. Sell your
Right?
rights, bro. Just sell them.
Yeah, we'll
Like,
see.
yeah.
We'll see. Well, I'm so glad that we got to talk about this. I'm so glad we got to finally fucking see it, dude.
Oh, I
It's
know.
been a long time
It
coming.
has.
Long time coming.
I'm so hyped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, next thing that we really have to look forward to is fucking WrestleMania here soon, dude. And more X-Men. And then Deadpool in less than a month
July.
and a half. Or I guess yeah, July. I'm thinking it's May in July. So
Yeah.
very soon, very soon. It's a good year for Marvel. Everybody's kind of worried. They got one movie coming out. What are they gonna do? They're gonna fucking lay their big on the table and slap everybody around. Yep.
Bro.
Yep. Thank you, Kevin Feige. And low key, thank you, Bob Iger, for making them step back a little bit and say, focus on a few things, really good at those things, and then move forward.
I think
So,
X-Men was already
oh yeah,
X-Men was the
yeah,
exception. They was already
yeah, I
working
agree.
on that shit for a while,
Yeah,
so
I think whatever the next X-Men movie is, the first official real X-Men movie. That I don't count Deadpool as X-Men movie. It's a Deadpool movie. When we get like the first X-Men or
right,
like
correct.
Wolverine movie,
It needs to
it's
say
gonna
that on the marquee,
yeah, exactly.
X-Men,
Yeah.
motherfucker, right? Maybe not that part, but
Oh, well, it'd
that'd
be
be
sick. We'll
that'd be that'd be the Samuel Jackson version
right? The Nick Fury version.
featuring
It
Nick Fury.
not to prolong the conversation, but it's like seeing how Kevin Feige started with X-Men and now it coming full circle to X-Men saving the MCU.
Poetic
It's
justice.
incredible. I'm sure he's probably just like so giddy. He's like, yeah, I did like I did it.
Hell
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he's having a good ass time. So with that being said, thanks for joining us tonight, everybody. This is fun. I will be back again once again next Wednesday evening, 10:30, 10:45 ish, with our reaction review of episode 3 of X-Men 97. Because this shit's so good.
Yeah, make
Um,
sure you guys are coming through to
yeah,
discuss what you guys thought about it.
Please.
next week as
Yeah,
well.
please comment, subscribe the YouTube channel. All of our socials can be found in the episode description below. I've been Joey. Thank you for being here with my co-host Ooch. This way. No, it's the other way. Shit. I flipped my camera. But we will talk at you guys next week. Have a good night, everybody. Bye-bye.
See ya.